Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, I was just grooving to the music right there. We got another great game coming up right now. It is IG versus Serenity, and we're going to have a continuation of the madness that is that one. Trent,
it's
Zyori,
3:22 a.m. after a blink Queen of Paint.
Guys,
that's fitting.
This is magical.
It really is.
It's 3:22. The hour is...
It's like the witching hour of GoDz.
Nigh? High? What's the saying?
Nigh.
Nigh. The hour is nigh.
What does that mean?
I have no idea.
It is nigh, like it is coming. It is here.
Nigh.
It is nigh.
Nigh is an old-fashioned word that can be used as an adjective or adverb to mean near or nearly.
Wow. Okay, so appropriate. And now that moment is over. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Okay. That was nice.
Everyone out there on Twitch. Tough game for Serenity fans. Everyone calling them the new Wings. Well, you're going to have to pump the brakes on that one.
No, that's perfect. Are
no,
you
that
serious?
actually that was exactly Wings.
Like
well,
the
but
most
Wings would win with
ever.
that.
Not
though.
often.
Isn't that
No, they would. Remember when they picked Punch Techies in the upper bracket of TI? That is Wings.
That's true. It was game one, right? So of all the times to try the Blink Dagon.
It's fine. It's upper bracket. Yeah.
And the mystery of why they would tip him and say Quap King is also solved. We've got a little bit of clarification.
Wow.
You know, they were mopping the floor, and so they gave me socks. I don't know, like, or sorry, not socks, some slippers. They say Holland, and they're like pretend moccasins with cows on them.
Yeah.
So I don't know who these belong to, but thank you, whoever left them at the BTS house. You are my hero, because now my socks are not wet.
Nice.
You know, I will say last game, I was impressed at how well Serenity farmed through that early game despite being at a pretty big kill disadvantage. That gave me a little bit of hope. Like, I thought for a little while that perhaps they could just take that one fight. And Quap did have a couple good ultimates, at least that one really big one right after the Blink Dagger. And they just couldn't bring it together.
Yep. I love that sentence. The one right after the Blink Dagger. But Parker, you're saying that like you felt like there weren't really that many damage items they get anyways.
Yeah, I don't think the Quap build was complete garbage.
Okay.
Bold words. It's not complete garbage.
I mean,
it's just kind of garbage.
I think the giraffe was the bad part. The Quap build was just the slightly questionable part.
That's fair.
IG, they are into it right now, man.
Yeah.
They are just like, you know, this has really been working for us today. Why go away from it?
Back to the bog.
They found their identity. They found their play style, and it's worked. They're 3-0 with it so far today.
What an obnoxious thing to be known for. Hey, guys, we picked those. These are like the heroes that Merlini detests. You know, they just need to get a Viper in there, and it's just that icky poison.
I mean, just like looking at the draft screen, there's flies all flying around. Like,
I don't know. If these guys have a Nature's Prophet player, they can go really far. You know, they got to get some more of these nasty heroes going into their hero pools, depending on the bans that come out.
They'll probably ban DK, I feel.
Yeah, DK and DP, I think.
Those are, both of those sound like must bans.
I mean, play styles against this, what do you really take that's good for, like, holding high ground, split pushing? Like, ET still sounds good, but...
Let's see, what do you want? Perhaps like an Underlord, it's percent-based damage against these kind of tanky heroes.
Yeah.
Or you want some like big burst damage, like or OD. I feel like OD against these tanky, hard-to-kill heroes could be good.
Warlock. That is a pretty nice one.
Yeah. Fatal Bonds, damage amp. You need ways to do damage, and Fatal Bonds is a good way. Drop a rock on their head as well.
So do you take like a greedy safe laner here then? You saw the Spectre a lot. We've seen Morphling in the past.
I think Spectre's not a bad idea because she's just inherently kind of tanky.
She's like a little slow, though.
A little slow.
If she was a little faster, maybe.
But dare I say, Hood first?
She's still pretty slow.
I don't know about the Hood first.
No?
I don't think it helps you fight them. Like, yeah, you stay alive, but...
Well, isn't that part of the, you know, you just have to survive Venom's damage and then he doesn't do anything.
You do have to kill them, though.
Yeah.
Well, that's, you've got
because
Fatal Bonds, you've got some dispersion damage.
They have this tanky lineup that hits your buildings, and yeah, the only way to stop them hitting your buildings is to kill them at some point.
Well, so what do you think they'll pair the Warlock with?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I wouldn't mind seeing the Morphling. We've seen some Morphlings come online and fight early. There was... God, who was it? Was it Alacrity that was playing it? That went like the Dragon.
Morphling against Undying. Let's go. Get a Tombstone.
Yeah, that's true.
He went Dragonlance build also, so he could just run around and fight people.
That's actually true. The morphing onto Undying is pretty good. Decay,
steal some strength.
Decay hurts against Morphling, though.
I think you just got to address the Tombstone is what I learned from last game. I think PL is a great hero. It kills Venom wards pretty easily. It kills Tombstone in 2 seconds flat.
And they banned it first phase.
Just kidding. Oh, okay.
Gyrocopters.
They know. They're on it. Yeah.
They're like, what's going to counter our opening PL?
How do you beat the bog? You doppelganger
Gyrocopter is
out
a
of it.
classic one, too, to deal with.
Gyrocopter's super weak in lane, and
Ooh, the block pick.
he kills these zombies, but he doesn't really kill the tome that fast. I would rather like some illusion-based hero, maybe.
I feel like this Rubik kind of like slows them down a little bit, you know?
Does he?
Well, it's not, you know, there's faster supports in terms of like the 5-man Dota and stuff like that, Rubik.
But isn't it nice against Clockwork and Warlock in terms of steals?
It's very good against Clockwork for the cog reasons.
Yeah.
That's one
you
of the best
can
parts
steal a
about it.
rock, you know, fatal bonds. Even stealing the heal is kind of nice.
The null field is the thing they're probably looking for most out of this defensive.
That too. Well, I think aggressive too. It's nice, like with Veno plus an aggressive null field. That sounds pretty dirty.
Yep. No, it's a solid pick for sure. It's a good Bobica hero because then they can just put the Undying on Q and just be like, okay, position 5 Undying, whatever, do your thing.
It's Serenity who's been playing some Clinks, right? I feel like Clinks is a good hero. Lean is a very good hero. Kills the Undying Tome, kills the Veno wards. Just these ranged heroes that can sit far away and kill that annoying shit that's on the ground.
They just sit out of the bog, throw fireballs into said bog.
Yep.
And that's a pretty effective strategy, it turns out.
I like it. And it works well with the damage amp stuff that you get from Fatal Bonds, too. Just like this big AoE damage that you can throw into the middle of it.
All right, are we picking Dragon Knight or are we picking Death Prophet? I like the Dragon Knight.
Yeah, I like the DK because of the survivability aspect.
Yep.
It's just way tankier than the DP.
DP is more on theme with the greenness, so
Oh, that's a fair point.
I like that one a lot.
And it's also, it seems like Dragon Knight has really helped break up sieging a little bit better. And they go a curveball. It's the red man.
Axe. There's still room for a DK in there.
That's true. So safe lane Veno, off lane Axe, and
Oh god,
Something for the
Axe
mid?
Undying dual lane or Axe Rubik dual lane? This sounds terrible. Oh god, Serenity, I'm sorry.
Axe. But why Axe?
Like terrible
here?
as in you don't think it's good, or
No, terrible as in I think they're just gonna run at them and like I don't know.
It sounds pretty hard to deal with.
Axe Undying is
5 seconds
solid.
remaining.
There's some aggression behind those eyes.
Yeah, it's like they're not even really focused on like the blink call aspect of Axe
No.
here. It's more about the harassing dual lane, pressuring in, running at you, and this idea and concept of Warlock plus hard carry is how you play Dota.
Right.
Uh,
This totally breaks that up.
I don't know. I feel like no one's really found a good answer to it yet. I still feel like these Warlock Spectres are farming
But I
no
think
matter who's in
if they
their
take
lane.
Spectre here, I think Axe Undying is enough to make that Spectre's life awful. I don't think
Yeah.
Warlock can heal through it.
I would think the same as well.
They can still go Morphling though. I think Morphling is super solid against this lineup still.
It's a similar problem where you get pressured pretty hard by Axe Undying. Undying's very good against Morphling in lane because Morphling wants to sit on high agi, no strength, and you just you're getting pummeled. You're losing your health.
Yeah. It's not as easy as you would think, but it is the Morphling. Good call.
God.
It is good in the mid game. Like God said, you can steal the Tombstone. Obviously, Morph outscales him really well. But Morphling is one of those heroes that it feels like he needs an item. And there are sometimes those games where it feels like he needs 2 items. And getting to that point can be punishable.
I mean, it's still, like you guys said, he can get pressured. I think that the flip side of that is that also he's going to be able to get a lot of heals coming in from the Warlock because he's at low agi, but
the super efficient heals.
like it sort of is going to depend upon like Serenity being able to stay alive. And if they live through that lane, like regardless of what happens with these last picks, I feel like they might win the game just off of that.
If you're full agi, does Undying just not steal strength?
Ooh, that's the
How
strat.
does that work? I was just thinking. I was like,
you get the strength.
I
as
think,
Undying.
doesn't he
But
just
he does
go
not
I
minus?
think. I'm pretty sure it's how it works.
It's like a temporary minus while he's morphing?
No, I think that you just sit at 1 strength and then the Undying. I think that's how it works.
he gets +4. And
I've
then
played
you
a
don't
lot
get
of
minus.
Undying,
think,
and
but
I'm
I can't
actually not sure.
confirm.
Yeah, I was thinking in my head. I was
Doesn't
like,
happen
Because I feel
very
like
often.
Morphlings are almost never on 0 strength. You know, they go low,
Well,
but
'cause- yeah.
you're never actually hitting them below the threshold. So I'm not sure what
Yeah.
happens.
These guys have played Quap Blink. They know what happens. They know that he doesn't get ace strength. I'm sure of it. They're prepared for this.
Yeah. It's still not fun, though. It makes the Morphling just feel like he dies to a couple of right clicks.
Yeah.
Because you're used to seeing these late game Morphlings that are really beefy and really bully-like, and that happens once they get a lot of those value stat items. But final picks here.
This is a great TA game for IG. I don't know if XXS has played TA as well. I feel like that's the Lina counter. It's also just a hero that can be very fast tempo. The Deso blink timing just allows you to push towers, take Roshan. It's
no
not
cooldowns
the DK,
either,
but
so you like don't have to worry about Golem and everything. It's pretty huge stuff.
So they need a off laner here most likely.
Yep.
Or a support, but
depending on the clock, I guess.
I still think, like you guys were talking about earlier, the Underlord is like kind of okay. It's maybe a little bit sketchy with like
Tide,
clockwork.
actually?
I was
feels
thinking
really
Tide,
good.
but no, they just grabbed Lesh.
Huh.
Okay.
So is this going to be a core clockwork then, or the core Lesh?
Probably a little bit of like 3.5 sort of style,
Okay.
right? Where like they lane together, and then when clock is more focused on hero kills, Leshrac is helping to split push and shove the lanes, as the boys would say.
Right away.
And there
It's
it
the
is.
TA.
GoDz
Great call.
with that schnipe.
Let's do this little plus voice thing.
All right,
Oh,
all right.
sorry, Dota TV. Hello.
Welcome back.
Hi. There we go. We're doing it.
Wow. I kind of dig on this IG draft. I think the Axe can play a pretty good tempo. I've got faith in SRF. It's going to come down to this TA, of course, if she can keep tempo, but I think it's a pretty good supporting cast.
I feel like IG are just gonna win this one, but TA taking over. I like it. I'm not totally sold on the core Leshrax, and it looks like that's the way they're gonna end up. Like he's mostly gonna be the core in this set, so.
Yeah, it is Xingqiu playing it, so I guess
Okay.
he's back to that 3 position. But
Okay.
we'll see. This is definitely a tough game for Serenity, it feels like. They're going to get pressured a lot. They've got some unfavorable lanes. Morphling's going to have a tough time. Lina has a bad matchup.
Yeah, there is this timer for sure, though, I guess, right? In terms of the IG drafts,
Right.
you know?
Sort of, yeah.
Axe, TA, and a Veno core. That's not exactly the most like late game kind of stuff versus the Morphlings, so
Yeah.
they need to hold.
So
if they can do it.
Are we 4 for IG? Is this the panel curse here? Is that what we're saying?
I'll stick with Serenity. Why not? Let's go crazy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I know. I'm sorry. Oh, more tips for him. This is the hard life. You try and innovate. You try to be your own man, and they come in and they break you down. I
Wow.
feel for you.
Let's see if it gets to it.
All right. Good luck, boys.
Thank you so much. What a bunch of cool guys we got there. Well, Parker, it's going to look different. It's going to look very, very different, I think. But I feel like we kind of know what each team needs to do to win in this one.
Yep, for Serenity, it's kind of like hold on, get your items on Morph and Lina without bleeding out too much this game. If they can get to that point, things will start looking pretty good for them. Q at bottom. Fight breaking out.
Already early on, Q need to get out of here, although he should be fine.
Yep. Went for the Cogs level 1, so wasn't really a kill threat available, as he just got a one-man decay off. Will be, interestingly, the Rubik with the Axe up top, so not quite the scariest of lanes that we maybe imagined, and maybe that is partly because of that decay.
The Orb of Venom early on, too, that we see there as the Light Strike Ray comes through. Some decent damage thrown out there early on SRF, but he's got a billion different things for regen.
Yep. Plenty of ways for him to heal that back up, but they're not going to get many of these runes, as Lina rotating in scared them off. It does mean Lina's block will not be anywhere near as good as XXS's, and that to me is a bit of a problem, because TA already favored in this matchup, and that block can end up hurting you even more as a result.
How bad is this TA versus Lina matchup? I feel like people always talk about it.
It's like a 70-30 matchup, I feel. Big problem is once TA gets some levels, you just can't reliably nuke the TA at all out of the lane. Early levels you have, with like a point in the Fiery Souls, you can actually do okay at dealing with Refraction, but later on it gets very difficult.
Okay. We'll watch for that and what they're capable of doing. Early wave is going to be pressured out. Did look like TA missed one of those CS, but it's not the biggest deal in the world.
You know, might even see XXS just glyph his wave here to mess with some of these last hits if he wants to. Not going to go for it, but decent early stuff for both. Veno should be free farming down bottom. 6 CS already. Up against, well, it's not a crazy duel lane. Getting Gale level 1 doesn't really feel good. This spell does very little damage. We're probably going to see like a 1-4-1 build. I think the Poison Sting is kind of your most valuable spell to level up. Unfortunately, this level 1 Gale is a bit of a mana sink.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Cogs push back. That's something to watch for in a splitter. Top lane, we talked about it.
Yep.
Just heal up the Morphling.
Oh, I like this. So level 1 Fade Bolt messing with Morphling's last hits. He only has one last hit, one deny. In some ways, they're not going for the let's harass Morphling out of the lane. They're going for the let's just mess with all of his last hits kind of approach, which in a lot of ways is just going to ultimately be better because you can't necessarily rely on being able to harass him when he's got this Warlock next to him. He's got lots of regen. He has that agi efficiency.
Yeah, and of course, as we've seen time and again, that's something that you can kind of do when you put it underneath the tower. It's hard to get these last hits, and he's not getting a lot of them. 3 and 1. It's even worse when you've got the battle hunger on you.
Yeah, both him and Warlock are feeling the heat up top. Warlock's using all his heals on Morphling, but while that's going on, he's taking damage himself, so down to half health. No regen left, just the Mangos.
He might need to get a couple of the tangos passed over from Morphling as well.
Yeah.
We'll see how that works out. But yeah, again, it's just, you know, a basic early frustrating start, I would imagine, for the Morph. But this is a cool answer because we haven't seen great answers so far for a hard carry and a Warlock.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a change, and I'm really looking forward to seeing these double Tombstone fights when Morphling can steal the Undying Tombstone. He can maybe pop a quick Decay if he even wants to, or a Soul Rip for a heal. There's some nice plays he can make with the Morph ability this game.
Not sure what they're writing on the map.
Having some fun, maybe. Who
Looks
knows?
like an XD, but I think it's something in Chinese.
Chinese character, maybe.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So yeah, top lane, SRF, he has a point now into the spin, and should be trying to get the pressure on. Gotta be careful on this Morphling. Again, pure damage at these low HP levels is always pretty frightening.
Yeah, Lina getting fairly low mid lane is a bit of a rough time for her. Does get an illusion rune, but that's not really the best rune, even though it can break refraction. It came at the cost of missing some CS on last hit, so XXS should be able to pretty easily deal with these illusions too if he wants to.
Oh, yeah, real careful.
Gonna force out a salve, so extra regen being brought out. That doesn't feel great for the Lina as well.
And being basically zoned out of lane right now.
This is 2 last hits in a row though there on TA. No one saw it, don't worry.
Absolutely. Bottom lane, Undying. Gonna throw out some decays here with the Gale, do some damage. It's a lot of damage actually. These right clicks coming through, battery assault there as well. They burn through the mana of aggressive, so won't have a Gale in 10 seconds. They've been able to find the follow-up stun. In some trouble, starting to drop down low, but will live. Mid lane though, Success also taking some damage. Dragonslave Refraction out at the last second with the salve.
Damn, that was so close to a kill, but Lina unable to connect on it. And that was a big commitment of Lina's mana pool. Meanwhile, XXS still had a salve and Mengo to play with, so he pops those and is able to continue playing this lane while Lina is going to be forced to bring additional regen to lane or to go and back to base just to heal up or something, which does not feel particularly good for ZYD.
Even hitting all these little bounces as well on the side blades and going to continue to. Lina needs to be careful on that.
Bottom lane, a bit of a clash breaking out. I think there'll be a kill. Tombstone even being dropped here. It did look like Serenity were going to try and commit for aggressive.
This would be one where you'd love to be able to turn around and try and take down that Tombstone for the early goal, but a little bit too scary. And so far, the story of this game is Radiant doing a good job in the laning stage. This is what we've come to expect from IG.
Yep. You can see the CS looking good on all 3 of their heroes. Somehow, though, it's on a gold. It's like a dead even on gold, it looks like. Maybe, yeah, slight gold lead going the Dire's way, which is a bit unusual considering the CS.
Well, that might change as Lina had to go all the way back to the well.
Yep.
It's going to be TPing out again now. And we'll watch and wait.
I think, yeah, Lina using the salves and regen, but TA also had to chew through some extra regen, which is where some of that difference is being made. Leshrac farming very well in this bottom lane as a core. Something we've seen Serenity do quite a bit, run these like dual core lineups.
Stacks-wise, we don't see any of these Ancients stacked up. More likely to see it from the Radiant team, but everybody's kind of been stuck in their lane, so it's a little bit tough to make that happen. Also, level 6s coming out very shortly for both of these. Looks like Lina will get hers a little bit after Templar Assassin, so she's going to need to be careful about those traps.
Yeah, see, if Lina wants to get a sentry in the mid lane, something you'll often have to do against TA if you're one of these squishy heroes that can just get dived, particularly if TA finds a haste rune or a double damage rune. with some traps, very easy to go for those dives. And TA going to bring out a bottle now. Not going for the fast bottle, going for the Aquila first, but knowing that runes can be a big difference maker, and it's worth getting the bottle to pick them up. Bottom lane, bit of a clash breaking out.
Both fine aggressive, lots of damage, and that's going to be first blood. They need to try and take down this tombstone here. They managed to get the kill with the soul rip there, but that means the tombstone will go down. Q giving away some gold to the clock.
Yep, some gold, and the first blood as well, going the way of Serenity. That one picked up by the Leshrac, who did die afterwards, but not the end of the world, but it will be a perhaps follow-up kill, as PYW getting fairly low.
Does have a TP if he needs to use it, so he'll hang on for the moment in this lane and try and play it safe.
Yep. 6-minute rune's going to go the way of Lina, which is definitely very good considering it's a haste rune, and that's exactly what TA is always looking for. And with a haste rune, here comes the rotation top. Very efficient play to make, yeah. You can get a kill or two and then quickly get back to your mid lane. I think IG know now, but Boca's going to scout it out, and he's going to just toss and run, hope for the best.
Oh, Light Strike Array, but Boca is going to die, and Lina gets back. No fuss, no muss. Easy kill there.
Yeah, as long as you only lose one, I think that's very reasonable for IG as far as mitigating their losses. If you lose both heroes top, it feels really bad. And like that rotation was super value, but just for the one support, TA gets a full creep wave. It's going to fall back, try and farm some Ancients. Doesn't even go for the stack. There is a Dire Observer Ward blocking it.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty quick that IG realize what's going on there. Also, Sentry Ward was placed down in the mid lane. There was one placed by both team, and it looks like they will not be able to take it away with the TA. Meanwhile, top lane, Warlock's still just living that poverty life. Healing up the Morph whenever possible. Well, they will take through a big stack, stealing away a couple of those. Not bad for the Morph.
Not bad at all. Morph is getting a lot of farm in this lane.
Oh,
and Lina's, again, yeah, these rotations working out fantastic.
1-3 in great place so far, coming in from Team Serenity.
Yep. Making it work. Their lanes have, for the most part, gone very well. The mid lane maybe being the one slight exception. As
Boca.
Potential kill coming in. No lift, though.
He just hides away in the trees, able to get out of there. Now they're going to try and find the stun. Does miss it there. Light Strike Array. They're going to be able to find it with the setup from the Cogs. And that is going to be a dead TA. Oh.
Very nicely done. Getting him right on the edge of the detection. And a big TA kill. That was the one lane that was going slightly in favor of IG. And a kill like that suddenly puts Lina back on par with TA. And the status quo is looking pretty damn nice for Team Serenity here.
1-4. Certainly feeling like, look at that drop right there, just off of those couple of kills and experience as well. I guess we could start looking at some of these levels, any rotations that might come out in the near future. Clockwork, probably the big one that we're going to be looking for, getting close to that level 6. We'll definitely have it by the time that, or with the tome at the very least, if nothing else.
Warlock also level 5 already. The nature of these dual lanes is that everyone's getting some good experience. Morphling already with the Dragon Lance, going for this fighting build. Big fan of this build. Allows him to kill the Tombstone a lot easier, allows him to fight earlier, and just is way less greedy because they're versing a lineup that you cannot be too greedy against.
This is a really cool way to make this happen, and it still allows him to scale well into the late game.
Yep. Doesn't even have boots right now. I do imagine he'll buy treads as his next item pickup, but either way, it's something a bit different.
Bottom lane, Clockwork taking a little bit of harassment here from these folks.
Mr. Gale may have been going for a kill there, but even if he lands it, something you mentioned earlier is there is no disable. But Boca has a stun here, but you throw your stun. Okay, they're going to go on the Leshrac instead. Lesh may just die here.
Coming in, they're going to take down Baboka first, though, and maybe going to be able to find a little bit more. Q is dropping low. It's Fatal Bonds on all of them as well. They're going to try and kill off this Tombstone. It is going to happen.
He's healing through it.
Deny is there as well if it really gets dicey, but it looks like Q is going to be fine.
3 points in the Shadow Word. You're often seeing these Warlocks nowadays not max this spell, but this game particularly, the heal is extra value. Wouldn't be surprised to see him max it at level 7, as just going for the 2 points in the Fatal Bonds, no upheaval needed just yet. That saves the Leshrac's life there. Really great play from Serenity, because it looked like the Lesh was going to be in all sorts of trouble when he TP'd in.
Smorfling taking some harassment here from SRF, but really, Morph doesn't need to be that worried in this lane anymore, I feel like, until something like a blink comes out, and that type of initiation is a hook shot. Going to be able to find aggressive yet again, and they get the kill with the bounty runes coming up. It's all coming up Serenity.
It is. They're just kind of steamrolling through this early game. 10 minutes in, they've got a 3K lead. They're doing what IG did to them last game, which was just get all these kills, control the early game, and just get this big momentum, which just pushes them forward, getting kill after kill. And they're going to start looking at towers fairly soon, I imagine, as well. Leshrek's got the first point in Diabolic Edict, has a Ring of Aquila, so has that extra armor aura if he wants to turn it on, and can start taking some of these objectives.
Yeah, and I mean, the big thing, too, looking at this, is that it's also with a Morphling. Like, that's the biggest part to me that's crazy about this, is it feels like this is the draft that should be having to play from behind, but it's just not the case. 7-1, 10 minutes in, and 3 heroes up here in the top lane. They want to try and put the hurt here onto ZZZ, and
they got the lockdown for it. It feels difficult, but
it's called.
He
got the strength on him. Oh, and just like that, he's fine. It takes over the tombstone. Come at me.
Gonna kill the enemy tomb, gets the money for it. 175 gold. It's a big boost to his economy.
With other heroes rotating in now, Clockwork here does have the hook. Gonna find it, catches on to both of them. They also find the Light Strike right follow-up. That's gonna be a dead axe right at the start. Q also going down. Serenity. Just beautiful Dota.
Yeah, sick initiation from PYW. On the 4 position, he has just been fantastic on this team. He's going to play a lot of Elder Titan here on the Clockwork. Great roaming initiation plays coming out. And it does leave IG perhaps scratching their heads a bit. They're going to be wondering, like, what do we do? We're just getting run over, and they're the team with the Morphling. We're the team with the Undying Veno. Like, this is not how things are meant to go.
Very, very cool stuff. And right now, IG needing to come up with some answers. One of the ways to do this is, of course, TA starting to take out these Ancients, stacks one right there as well, and then immediately clears through it. But she needs to get towards some quick items. You can see already the Blink Dagger. She just wants to kill off that Morphling ASAP. Likewise.
Clockwork comes in.
Snatches one away. Oh, no, he didn't get that one.
No, I couldn't tell. Oh, yeah, he's brown. I can't sometimes tell the difference between the teal and the light blue colors. Oh, with the gold. But yeah, he's going to get some experience, block the camp again with another sentry ward, just making sure to limit the TA's farm. Even if it gets dewarded, TA does have a sentry in pocket. It's just going to stop a spawn or 2 coming out.
All right. Lina needs to be careful here mid. Well, Warlock actually has an ulti behind him. They managed to find one and blow him up.
He just ran to 3 heroes here, and Lina, caught out completely.
But the turnaround, they take down aggressive right at the start. They do lose the Lina.
He got blinked on. The TA blink had just come up with a double damage as well. That was when IG wanted to fight, and we get to see the first glimmer of hope for them.
Other thing I was just thinking about is morphing into TA doesn't sound too bad either. Getting the refraction up and online.
Refraction, go back to your Morphling form. Sounds pretty damn nice indeed.
Top lane, SRF hits the hook shot, connecting over here to the side, and Serenity making it happen. We're seeing signs of life from IG, but it still feels like Serenity are the ones with the momentum.
Yeah, and it feels like it's all around the TA, and TA's having a great game, is on track to hit her normal item timings, but the heroes, other heroes, you're feeling like, it's struggling. Veno, 0-3, doesn't have his 4-staff yet. That's a key item when you're playing against this Clockwork. Axe has Vanguard, but this means this Blink Dagger's coming up perhaps slower than IG would have liked. If you're going Vanguard, you typically want to do it when you're in a dominating position, but he's 0-3. He's not farming particularly fast right now.
Morphling takes over the Zombie Man yet again, drops Tombstone, runs away. He is all fine with this at the moment. Doesn't take any talents yet. Also worth noting that we've just been seeing the Clockwork follow around the TA, constantly throwing out those rockets, and even if it's not necessarily doing much damage to XXS, he can't feel comfortable in this game. They constantly know where he is.
Yeah, and that's the kind of hero that could theoretically jump you with a battery assault. If your blink gets cancelled or is on cooldown, suddenly you can't really rely on your refraction to get you out. If Clockwork has anybody with him, it's going to be a kill on the TA. So have to be very careful. It does feel like IG are going to have to get a lot done. As soon as they get both the Deso on TA and the Blink Dagger on Axe, it's go time for them. They can't just keep on farming at that point. They need to take Roche, they need to take towers, they need to take fights. They got to be the ones getting active with those items.
Well, and the plus side too, as you mentioned, is that they have this 5-man lineup. That's what they want to do, really. And they've got the items between them that sort of answer a lot of those problems. The Force Staff on Venomancer to be able to help out the TA later on. We're talking again about the Undying trying to go back for the mechanism later. He's still a long ways away from that. I don't even know if he's getting to this game, to be honest.
Yeah, we've seen Q's often farm very well in Undying, but this is not one of those games. Morphling goes for an unusual 350 waveform range talent. Normally you almost always see the +10 agility. But I think this game, with just the ability to maneuver these fights and right-click a lot more early on, he wants that extra range just to maneuver around these fights. Gives him some more chase potential. He's quite the scary right-clicker with this build. Hitting for like 180 damage. About to be even scarier with a Yasha as well.
Well, and right now the Gale basically mitigated by the Shadow Word. Only one level in it, as you were mentioning. Initial damage 25 and then 10 per tick.
Yep.
I think that's spooky.
They've completely kind of taken over this Radiant jungle, at least on one side. TA still has the other side. Ooh. Hunting for a kill there. They ping the ward. Fortunately, that's not a great hook shot because, one, it doesn't hit and doesn't get you a kill. It also reveals where your observer ward is. But they're going to take some towers here, and they're going to maintain map control even without the vision just because of being able to push out these lanes.
Leshrac picks up the Bloodstone. They do still have this Clockwork in the area. Can sort of tank up any initiations that come out. Maybe get a Cogs pushback if things get a little bit too dicey. But Tier 1 tower down. Serenity, happy as a clam.
IG just unable to do all too much right now. TA closer and closer to the Deso. Axe is going to hit the Blink Dagger a little bit earlier, or about the same time, which is great. You want these two key items coming up at similar times. And we're going to see what they can do. Problem is, like, Axe initiating with Blink just doesn't feel great when you're versing a Warlock, because it's such an easy counter-initiation play to make. If TA blinks in to join the Axe, then you've got a two-man Rock Fatal Bonds combo right there with the TA Axe joined together. And they're both going to take a lot of damage in that, so it does feel hard to go in if Warlock is there. Unless you go in the Warlock, that sounds great.
Of course, and that's the dream fight as well, but we're seeing that XCJ is playing very far back in these fights. And
he knows how to position. Stay in the trees, don't show yourself, don't let yourself get caught. Clockwork's staying on the other side. Like, they'll have one hero of the morph pushing out the lanes, and then Clockwork's kind of the one scouting out a potential smoke rotation, so it's damn near impossible to get to this Warlock, because you can't just flank from behind. The other heroes are protecting his sides.
All right, here we go for IG. We've got the Blink Deso. We've got the Blink on Axe. They're smoking up.
I just don't see this working with Warlock. This initiation is going to be so rough. If they blink in together, I think they just melt.
Oh, and meanwhile, they jump forward. They find themselves one.
That's Lesh. Got to stick with the team. They get a quick pick-off. They need to play around the Morphling, and the Leshrac just kind of got off the same page as the rest of the team there and gives up a little easy kill, but insta-respawn with the Bloodstone.
Ooh, and they're looking to go again here. They have eyes on TA, maybe going to look for an opening. They have the Rocket Flare in a second. He's moving forward, but the blink away, and instead they're just going to take the one kill here onto Q.
Nicely done.
And again, by and large, you've got the Tier 2 tower taken, and this is with the Morphling. Like, this is the lineup that scales better.
Excited to see the Morph probably going for that Morph duration talent as well, so we can just keep on switching back and forth a bit more, using a few more extra spells in his morphed form, whichever hero he may choose.
TA going to go for the BKB next. You would love to be able to pick up an Aegis onto XXS. It is just so scary to walk into that pit with so many heroes alive on Team Serenity. And right now, again, as we mentioned, Bloodstone charges down to 8 for Leshrac. Actually up to 9, excuse me. But we'll be going for a Blink Dagger himself. He just loves the item.
Not the end of the world losing those Bloodstone charges. Not a huge fan of this. He's not playing the mid-carry Leshrac. He's kind of playing, you know, second, third fiddle to the Lina Morphling. Going Bloodstone when you have Lina Morphling on your team just seems a bit odd. Buy some Boots of Travel. He's just playing full-on farmer, like split pusher mode. Not just him, like all 3 cores in some ways. Lina also has a Bloodstone queued up. The itemization from Serenity is, I don't know, it's not that conventional, at least not what you'd normally expect teams to do. You'd typically want to see Lina go for a Shadow Blade to go around hunting for kills. You'd want Leshrac to have like some more defensive utility items like the Yule Scepter. maybe even into a BKB for some survivability, which BKB honestly isn't that good this game. I like Morphling's build, even though they're the suboptimal, like, not suboptimal, they're the unusual items as well. I just think these Bloodstones are a bit overvalued by this team.
I completely agree. Like, Yule's just so freaking great against the Axe and for everything, and there's a lot of it. But again, this is not what he feels like he needs to do. And
absolutely. It's working. They're finding kills. He's finding farm. He's going to get some Bloodstone charges back there and continue to be able to push out these waves. He wants to truly scale and be a core. It's just coming at the cost of, like, the Lina bit.
Yeah. So Morphling Manta has himself a Morbid Mask on top of it with the Dragonlance. Scotty next, much more of the right-clicking build to try and take down towers, which I really love to see.
This is, like, also a great build for fighting a TA. TA wants to get up close and personal with Refraction and just try and burst you down. Morphling, well, you've got over 30 armor, you've got Manta illusions, which will quickly break through Refraction, and then with Scotty, you've got a slow as well that's going to make TA have a tough time in these fights. So, and also a slow that's going to pierce through the BKB that's queued up for TA.
Rubik switches over to some strength form, wants to be a little bit tankier. Wow, the Morphling again just gets the heal coming through, and it's time to push for another tier 2.
They should just be able to take this pretty much for free. Don't think there's much they can do to contest it. Chuck another heal on the Morphling if you need to. ZZZ is going to make short work of this tier 2. IG's draft just hasn't got rolling. They were meant to do this like 5-man Dota thing. Do this death bowl of dropping Venom wards and playing around the Tombstone, but they just never got a chance to because of how badly these lanes have gone.
Well, and this is what we talked about in the last game, right? Like, that was the biggest problem, really, with their draft last game was the issues in their laning stages. And if there's one sort of detriment that you could talk about with IG, it's that they've been somewhat predictable. The way that they've won games have pretty much looked exactly the same. And maybe Serenity has found a bit of a cure for the bog that we've been talking about.
Play this fast pace, you find all these kills, you throw them off in the early game. If you don't have a good laning stage, it's very hard to play that 5-man style because you have too many heroes that are looking to catch up. It always turns into this, okay, can we group up and push? Axe is going to be like, no, I need to farm my Blink Dagger. Venom's like, I can't come until I have my 4 stuff, otherwise I just had a clockwork. And the end result is this TA is like, guys, I can go fight and do stuff, but none of you can. So I've got to just keep on farming as well. And IG are just in this kind of harmful pattern of just keep continuing to farm and farm.
Oh, nice play there by XXS. Not sure if it's going to be enough, though, as they try and run away. It does look like Q is going to be able to walk away from this, though. He's living.
Keeps himself alive. Those pesky TA traps not enough to bring him down. QIW has swooped in as well. He's got a Solar Crest queued up, which will make it even harder for the TA to do damage in these fights. And this BKB is probably essential, but it's not a damage item, which means we're kind of looking at this TA who, at the kind of key part of the game where we're about to see some game design T-fights, has a BKB, but this BKB just doesn't feel great because there is so much physical damage. It doesn't solve any morph problems, and just doesn't feel like TA is going to do enough damage output with this item build.
Oh, they switch into the Rubik, going to turn it back around. Bobak gets the counter lift now. Got ourselves a little bit of a pause.
Well, he's got that waveform range, so goodbye Rubik, I guess. Yeah, that's that extra chase.
God, he's halfway to a Scotty already. This Morphling's out of control.
He is. I think he's just going to be untouchable. Like, he's going to have a Scotty, and as TA gets this BKB, which is going to mean TA still gets kited, still can't deal with the Morphling at all. None of these heroes counter Morphling at all. It's just not going to happen. I know his damage over time. Morphling can always morph strength, TP home, get healed up by Warlock. TA is all physical, undying. Tombstone's just going to melt. Axe with a Blade Mail, I guess. Blink Cole on the Morphling when he's all agi or something. That's kind of the kind of play you have to go for this game. But that sounds like a unreliable tool to use to win this game.
Well, Obaka. Not long for this world. He goes down very rapidly, and yet again, Morphling about to finish off that BKB for himself. That one feels like a much stronger BKB. Is ZZ looking for SRF, switches over for the null field, and
wants to lift too.
Almost has it. Range
getting
with
slowed.
staple. Nah, I can't get there.
Didn't have much mana in his regular form as well, so couldn't really wave in. Top lane, TA. And he just gets solo killed. The Edict.
Oh my god. The buckler value from
Yeah.
GQ.
See,
That's awesome.
These are items I like to see. This Buckler, Aquila, like Aquila want into Buckler Yules. That sounds like a utility-less build for the offlane. The Bloodstone's kind of cool because it gives you all these stats and health, but...
Oh no, an aggressive. Just light strike to raid. Dead and done.
Dead?
This might...
He's just destroying them. Gonna kill this tomb with these. Still has an Aegis as well, and you can't really fight into this upheaval.
Yet again, they catch there. Q gonna drop down. They do burn through the Aegis. Not bad, as they were stealing the Laguna Blade on Rubik.
It's still not great, though. They're gonna lose possibly just Rax here. They don't have buyback on Veno or TA. They're down both their cores, and yep, mid Rax gonna fully go down. Theoretically could consider threatening top, although I think we may just see them fall back with these respawns coming soon.
Axe is like, I'm jungling, guys. See you later. I don't want none of this.
He's waiting for these respawns before he even considers coming to help. As they will back off to meet up with their creep wave. Probably see them go for some shrines here. No rush to end things.
Man. Well, again, I kind of like what you're talking about there. Like, we can flame the Blink Quap all we want. To me, that's a better build than like when you see the Medusa go like Lincoln's Manta over and over and over again. It's like, you know, innovation that's different at least. It's cool. I like it. Now we're seeing a much more orthodox but still cool build.
Yeah, I think the Morphling is saying we've seen from time to time, but it's definitely not the common build to see on a Morphling. We're seeing this double Bloodstone. I think the big part of the Bloodstone they really like is the short respawns.
Yeah.
They're a team that loves to fight, loves to keep on taking these team fights, and they want these low respawns so they can, you know, if they die, they respawn, they fight again. Let's go smoke. Let's go do something. While it's not an item that gives you much outside of some, like teamfight survivability and low respawns, that's enough for them because they feel like they can just be the aggressors. And in a game like this, they definitely can be.
4-17, 13,000 net worth lead right now by Serenity. And they are looking to try and tie this up, get themselves a spot at TI. Again, winner of this goes straight on through.
Yep. Game 3 decided. That's going to be a great way to end the night for China. Before we get ourselves into some CIS Dota action. We saw the CIS crew rocking up, but things have to kind of settle down here a bit.
Oh, and Vizrun, they find themselves one. They're going to get the second caught as well. On two fronts, the battle is brewing. And guess what? Serenity's winning both of them. So they take down Bobica as well. The right clicks are there. And meanwhile, Aggressive needs to get back inside the base.
Sure, Bobica just wasn't using the lift to lift the Clockwork out. That was a bit weird.
Uh-oh.
Success is going to quickly DC. Not sure what happened there, but yeah, Rubik got hooked and just waited till he was almost dead before he used telekinesis. He stole a cogs, just kind of accepted his fate, which is the whole purpose, not behind why you pick Rubik. You want to, you know, someone gets hooked on, you lift the clock, you push him out of the cogs, and they escape, or you escape yourself. We see SRF on the Axe once again, just jungling it up while his base is in trouble because he's probably just like, what do we do? What is the play here? And
he wants Blade Mail so badly. He's just 70 gold away from it. 50 gold, NA math.
Yeah. I think a Blade Mail call onto the Morphling is their last hope, perhaps, right now.
And even that, honestly, you take a look at this Morphling, and I mean, he's in the...
He's in Venom Fort, right?
But he's got a lot of armor.
Yeah, he's going to have a decent amount of health now with the Scotty. Even when he's full Agi, I feel like he's still, 1,500 health roughly on full Agi.
Jeez.
And Axe bring him down.
Still, he's going to TP back right now. That is maybe going to be the last hurrah as they look for a Blade Mail opening.
Axe is already down, but he is smoked up, so he should be able to get the jump on. They've already backed off. They're not going to get a chance to do it.
Oh, they pop in the drums. You can sense it. They just want that call so badly.
They were ready for that. They were just like, these guys have been missing for a bit too long. Let's just back off. We don't care about a ranged Rax right now. We've got the key objective, the melee Rax. We can wait for Roshan. We can take their other shrine. Rosh will be respawning in the next 3 to 4 minutes.
28 minutes in, and Team Serenity, after a very upsetting first game for them are looking amazing in this game number 2.
Yeah.
Off the back of this Morphling.
This game's getting pretty out of hand. Morphling now it's got a Butterfly queued up. He's found the Ancient stacks.
Oh,
Here
they're
we go.
looking for it immediately.
There's the
Fatal
Blade
Bonds. The turn on. No,
That's
he
the
gets
combo.
him. He dropped him down. The second chop. They
Right.
kill him off.
As things were looking a bit too grim for the Radiant side, they show some signs of life. They get 3 kills out of it. Morphling has no buyback. What
Looking for
can
more.
they do?
They found a 4. He's gone as well here if he's not careful.
Maybe they have a fit. ZYD's getting chased, but SRF doesn't get him with the blink.
I thought that he had time to get off. I mean, because the rock came in, right? Like, what was stopping him? Just too long of
From
duration?
Morphling, just the call with the blade mail. It's
Okay.
a 3-second plus duration, and he just got blown up during it. Kills himself on the blade mail, and perhaps a small little lesson that he may have to sit on slightly higher strength against this Axe blade mail. That is the one way IG can win this game. Killing this Morphling using blade mail. And I think that's where Team Serenity, just tell your Morphling, dude, it's okay if you do a little bit less damage. Just, sit on like 20 or 30 strength instead of 0.
Yeah. And it is crazy how quickly they're back again with these Bloodstones talking about it. So, ready to possibly fight again if they want to.
And Morph has kind of done just that. He's now sitting on 20 strength, just to make sure he has that little bit of a buffer, because he was close to surviving there. It was just ever so slightly enough damage.
He goes back down to
Goes
0.
back at 0. I think it's because he sees the Axe. That's why there's an Observer Ward on top of Axe. But anytime he feels like the Axe could be jumping him, he should be putting some points into strength. It's definitely a mistake not to at this point.
They do have another smoke here. Volca. The movement over from the Undying might signal to them that a smoke is coming. In fact, they're going to be...
Oh, Roche has respawned very fast.
This is scary. Smoke here as well. Do they try and bait out one of these Morphling illusions? They could go for it.
Bottom lane, meanwhile, Zinkyu's an aggressive duking it out. Uh-oh, but the teamfight will break out. They take out Undying.
Yeah, there's a jump forward as well. They're already on to XXS as the waveform jumps forward. That's TA done. No buyback, 80 seconds, and Roche is the call. They did lose the Lesh.
Yeah, Lesh down bottom. They TP rotate a lot of heroes, but both Undying and TA go down. And Roshan at this point is totally fine. I think Zinky more or less fulfilling his duty there. He's the guy split pushing the lanes. He's got boots of travel, so theoretically, if they don't address him, he can just, push high ground. If they do, he wants to just boots of travel to the rest of his team. Or worst case scenario, he gets picked off, but his team are able to get some kills and take Roshan, which is what ends up happening.
Aegis and Chi's going to be the look for them now, and if they want to, you can just run down a lane, it feels like almost. So 40 seconds with the TA on the sidelines, and of course, by the time they get there, you'll have the boots of travel Leshrac able to join them as well.
Yep. They may set their sights on this Axe down bottom. He just blink called a creep wave. Does look like they may grab some bounty runes first, which have lingered well into the 31-minute mark.
So still, in spite of that little hiccup there for Team Serenity, IG still heavily under fire at this point in the game, and they're going to need something magical to make this work.
Yeah, the big problem is their play to win fights was this blink call onto Morphling, and now you can do that, but he's got an Aegis. So how do you kill him a second time? Perhaps you just disengage and wait for the cooldown. The Blade Mail has a 20-second cooldown. You could just reset, wait for it to come back up, give up like a tier 3 tower, and then go back in. But you need some kind of plan of attack here, and well, you don't need one yet because it does feel like Serenity are happy to just back off, finish their items first. They do have a Butterfly coming for Morphling. He's just 1,000 gold away.
And just like that, they do find themselves the Axe. He has not popped his Blade Mail, and now the right click's coming in. He's done.
They may be able to push off that. I think you tell Morphling, dude, stop farming. Yeah, he just stopped killing an Ancient Camp. He was trying to finish his Butterfly. He was very close to it, but with a kill like that, you actually just go high ground. Or at least force a buyback, which he does have.
On the sidelines here, and yeah, they're going to try and push this out here for a moment. Again, Axe does have that buyback, along with the Venomancer.
Yep.
But this is looking to be... They're fighting on top of a trap. They need to be a little bit careful if things start to go south. They might not be able to get out easily.
These traps also just clear creep waves, which is pretty annoying. You have to kind of respect. Gets vesseled up. We'll just mant it out. They may actually just back off here. Axe is about to respawn, and things didn't quite go how they would have liked with that push.
It's hard to push high ground, and they had the Tombstone down also.
Tombstone plus Veno, pesky stuff. I think it picks up an AC, so getting some additional sieging items.
Yeah. This should just continue to be farm central for Team Serenity, while IG... I mean, what's the game plan at this point, right? Like, things have not gone the way they wanted from the very get-go.
So Morphling's like kind of close to peaking, which is where you're just telling your team, like, let's just hold on and see what happens. You don't expect to come out on top of this game. You know you're held up in your base. The Dota Plus win probability says 99%. I don't think it's that bad. I think it's they have a bit more than a 1% chance. It's definitely no higher than 5. It's probably somewhere like 3 to 4. But they have to just turtle it up. Their lineup doesn't scale as well, is the other big problem. Morphling, Lina both probably go better late game than TA Veno does. Which is where this game is particularly hard, but they definitely can just turtle and see what happens.
Play for misplays, play for the DD runes as well, I guess.
These heroes like Axe with Blaymail have that just insta-kill potential that you always never know what's going to happen with. But it's going to be tricky because they can't really leave their base, and if Team Serenity want to play it safe, they can just kind of slow roll as we're seeing, go through the motions, get all their next items. Minute and 20 left on Aegis. Maybe time for them to go for that high ground push now. We'll see if they're ready for it. Leshrac just finishing off a Shiva's Guard, and I believe that should be all the items that they're waiting on. I want to say it is at least. We'll see. Yeah, they're going to smoke them. It's go time.
All right. Maybe eventually... see if they can find a pick off here. They're going to walk forward into the base, actually, just prepping for this. And they found aggressive. Not expecting to get hooked from behind, but he is instantly going to evaporate. And Serenity in the base, looking for more now. They do have a Axe Call if they want to use it, but to make sure it's that perfect one. They also stole a waveform. Axe looking for his opening here now.
Morph is happy to get going on right now. 30 seconds left on Aegis. If you're IG, you just try and time it so that you go in with Aegis expiring.
Or call into the other side of it. They're blowing up the Lina. She's already dead. But back up in 20 seconds. Can they bend back into here in time? There's the stun on to 2. Xin doing a lot of damage as SRF is starting to fall down low and will eventually die. 3 dead on the side of IG. The only one left is maybe one more call from the Axe. But he is getting it broken by a zombie. Pretty emblematic of how rough this game is right now.
Aegis steamrolled through them this game. They had such a good early game. Never looked back and forced a Game 3 decider.
Oh, it was just about to expire right there as well. But obviously the game done. Just a little bit of salt in the wounds right there. But my goodness, Team Serenity, I have got to say, these guys are very, very entertaining, if nothing else.
Yeah, they do some unique stuff with their drafts, their play. Definitely a breath of fresh air here in the Dota 2 Chinese TI8 qualifiers, and almost there. They are 1 game away from going to Vancouver. That is crazy for a team of relatively newcomers, or for the more established, the more veteran players on that team. They've never really had that great success. They've been playing on like kind of that tier 2 Chinese Dota scene. It's just so hard to break out when there's this like clear upper echelon of teams that you have to always beat. It always feels like, you know, your LGDs, your newbies, your VTs are going to these lands, and teams like Serenity, well, they show that put them in these TI qualifiers and they can turn some heads.
I'm really starting to believe. I'm super excited to keep on seeing what these guys do. If nothing else, it's hell of entertaining. And we do have one more game, ladies and gentlemen, and we are going to know the first team that is going to qualify through these TI8 main qualifiers. Stick around. That's going to come right after this.